So this is an update video about my build and how it's going and what kind of updates did I do to the build and items and so on. But if this is your first time seeing this video, I will link my main build guide to this build in the video description. There's gonna be a first link and there's gonna be a lot of information for you. But if you came here to see the update, I'm running a Mageblood, and a lot of it did change while me farming for the Mageblood and actually acquiring the Mageblood. Right, so moving on. Since I have a Mageblood, we can use totally different Flask, and there's a positive side and a negative side on the Mageblood. So the positive side, we can use 4 permanent Flask, and the flask that I'm using it's a Sapphire, and I'm using for the crit chance since I lost the diamond flask from my main build guide and I need to get myself some crit chance, so that's how I'm doing it. Then I'm using a quicksilver flask with the increased armor. Then I'm using a granite flask with the reduced effect of curses. This roll could be a bit higher, so I would get 100% reduced curses. Roughly now I'm sitting about 95, so it doesn't bother me too much, but I think you need about 52 or 53 to get 100% curse reduction. And the last flask that I'm using is a topaz with reduced mana cost. And this is a very important information. You need to have 25 reduced mana cost with the combination of the boots enchantment from the lab. This will give you 0 cost of skills. Staying on the topic of the flask, if you still like the build and you want to improve it, you're gonna see the rings on the screen. So what I would recommend you is to swap them 2 rings for something like +1 maximum power charge and use the Calandra touch to mirror it, and then you would have to craft your power charge ring to the point that get some crit multi, maybe ES, just whatever you can squeeze. And what I would do, I would replace this flask from the crit chance, since you would get 2 extra power charges that will get you to the crit cap, and you would not necessarily need a critical chance from this flask. What I would do, I would rather replace the flask with the elemental resistance, so you would not necessarily had to roll any resistance on the ring. This would help you out generally with the crafting of your ring, as you would mainly just focus maybe on the stats and probably maybe some ES or whatever you would be missing. So the gem wise, I only did 2 adjustments to the gems. Originally in my gloves I had my assassin's mark combination. Now the assassin mark sits in the claw. I have still linked my assassin mark on support and inspiration. This just gives me the assassin mark for free. So I moved the assassin mark from my gloves to my claw and I lost enhanced. So that's a little bit damage, not much. But I had to make space for purity of ice and had to buy myself another enlighten level 3. And I lost the defiance banner. So your new links in your gloves should look something like this: purity of elements, purity of ice, tempest shield, and enlighten. And the last slot is gonna be shared between steel skin and molten shell. Generally speaking, molten shell is way better than steel skin. But since I lost the flask that I had my original build that gave me corrupting blood and bleeding immunity, the bleed and corrupting blood are a bit of a problem right now because I lost that flask. There is a solution. I wouldn't say that's like a decent solution we can use with the Pantheon. There is Lata Pantheon, right? And that's gonna give us the bleeding and the corrupting blood solution. But you're gonna be losing the Soul of Aberrant, and since I'm running a lot of red altars, there's a lot of burning ground, so I need this Pantheon. That's why there's a bit of a trouble with the bleeding. The corrupting blood still can be achieved by corrupting some kind of jewel, like I could actually corrupt my melding of the flesh or any other jewel, maybe like my thread of hope, and get myself the corrupting blood immunity back on one of the jewels. But you're still gonna be dealing with the bleeding immunity somehow. That's why when I'm mapping, I'm using a steel skin to help me out with that. But whenever I'm gonna be bossing, I'm just use molten shell, because molten shell is way better. If you swap it in the PoB, you're gonna see that how our effective HP goes up with the molten shell compared to the steel skin. So item wise, I'll only replace 2 items. Firstly, I replaced my gloves because I needed a bit more dexterity, resistance, and I wanted to get myself the +1 maximum cold resistance. You can elevate that +1 to +2 and you're gonna get a bit more maximum resistance. I no longer needed increased attack speed on my gloves since I have a tailwind boots right now. So that's why I had to replace my gloves. And I had to replace my good old trusty Stampede boots with the double influence boots. Of course, you need to have the cooldowns on the boots because we lost the cooldowns from the belt, so we had to move it into our boots. Then I was looking for like a tailwind. I wanted elevated tailwind, and while I was browsing the trade, I found out this pair for about 16 divines, and I would say, and when I was looking at it, it gives me a nice movement speed, and I have the tailwind and the cooldown, and it had the lab enchantment, so I took them. So I paid 16 divines for them. I would say they are not the best, but they are not the worst. They are okay for now. And I would say that's pretty much it what I did to update to the items. Everything else is pretty much the same. The part maybe what I did is like I corrupted my claw with the bestiary to get the fairy quality. You could actually improve your claw to a dagger since you no longer have any mana issues, so you don't need the Gemini claw gain mana per hit. That's what you see. The dagger on the screen would be something like an end game your weapons. So since I have 100% chance to avoid being chilled, I no longer have the chilled mod on my ring. I just went myself with the increased attack speed. This gets me closer to the cap of the speed that I need with my claw. But if you don't have the chill avoidance on your boots, I would still recommend having the chill avoidance on your ring. With the Pantheon, you're still gonna be sitting on 0 chill effect. So with the passive tree, not much happened actually. I lost my rare jewel that I had over here that gave me the corrupting blood immunity because I had to make the room for the melding of the flesh. If you don't know how the melding of the flesh works, it's pretty much reduces 4 of your maximum resistance, but your highest maximum resistance becomes all of your maximum resistance. If this still doesn't make sense, let's just say you're gonna be stacking maximum cold resistance because of the Aegis Aurora over here and the Purity of Ice, and then that's why you're gonna have your maximum cold resistance as well on your gloves, and you're gonna be doing this on other pieces, and then the maximum cold resistance is gonna be shared between all of the other resistance, such as you can see over here, fire and lightning in my case. So I got rid of 1 jewel, and then at some point, if I manage to farm a bit more currency, I would get rid of my enduring composure jewel over here, the small one, and I will get myself the jewel that you see on the screen. Since that jewel, it's a little bit expensive currently, and I'm low on the currency right now, would give me +3 maximum resistance because I can take those 2 notables, and I'm gonna be getting 2 points back from here. So I would still be on the same level, and pretty much nothing else did change. I did fix my dexterity problem, so I respect one of the dexterity points over here, and I moved it to the mastery in the armor. I did level up my character from level 97 to 98 while just doing Crimson Temple, so I just have a 1 point over here because I actually have no idea where to put 1 point. There's nothing good actually to do. Then I changed my mastery, my mana mastery, because I used to have reduced 10 mana cost. Since the cost of skills is actually 0, I swapped it to increase mana reservation skill as I need that. And on topic of the reservation efficacy of skills, you're gonna have to respect 1 point over here from your global defense, because I had them bunch them over here, but I had to respec it, otherwise I would have to buy one of the Enlightens level 4 that costs 12 divine. So I said, oh no, I'm not doing that. But with the help of one of my good trusted viewers, I was able to, he was able to tell me there's a reservation tattoo. So I just respect one of my global defense and I just used that reservation tattoo. It costed me 115 C, I think, and that solves your problem. If you won't have this tattoo over here, your mana is gonna be 7, and on the start of your map you won't be triggering the forbidden rite. You're just gonna have to wait till a monster hits you, so then the enchantment from your boots is gonna start working, and then you're gonna start casting your forbidden rite. But if you have this tattoo over here and you have the reservation, you should have the same amount of mana like me, the 13, and you can always, start the map and casting your forbidden rite, because we're using the mastery over here, and we lose 10% of ES whenever we use a chaos skill. So pretty much we're gonna be hitting ourselves with the forbidden rite, and we're gonna be triggering this enchantment for the boots. So pretty much this is a permanently up as long as you're pretty much holding the cyclone. So overall, you won't see any more updates with the build, as I'm not gonna be updating any more gear or items or anything else to the build. Pretty much I'm gonna be moving to my next build, and I'm gonna be playing something else. If you stay this long in the video, here's like a small rant, me saying some shit about Mageblood. Actually, I do like to chase the Mageblood because it's like a item that I like to chase, right? It always makes me grind for like multiple hours, farm my blighted maps, and just be like, oh no, I'm farming Crimson Temple and running a lot of speed farming just to have this item. But generally, I would say like this: the original guide that I posted for Forbidden Rite, it's way better that chasing for like 100 or 200 hours farming just for the Mageblood. Mageblood is a fun item and I like to have it, but sometimes I think the Mageblood is just like a trap for the content creator like me, because I'm trying to chase it, but once I have it and I want to try a new build, this item actually traps me in, because I have a Mageblood. Either I'm gonna sell it or it's gonna just be in the stash tab, and and I'm not gonna use it. That's kind of silly. I would rather use it in my next build. But then when I want to post a guide, someone's gonna say, hey, you have a Mageblood, So that's why I actually like Mageblood, and I dislike it as a content creator as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching, and I will see you later in my next video.